Fast money is like a fast car, darling. It usually ends up in a ditch. That sentence followed my entire childhood, and every single time Gran Betty said it, she would tap the rim of her chipped blue teacup before taking the slowest sip imaginable. Tap. That sound meant wisdom was coming. Back then, I used to smile politely and ignore her. Now I would give anything to sit across from her one more time and hear her talk about money, life, people, and patience. Because the older I get, the more I realize Gran Betty understood something the modern world forgot. Everyone today is rushing to look rich. Very few people are learning how to feel secure. And honestly, that difference changes everything. The strangest thing about Gran Betty's financial habits was hidden inside an old kitchen cupboard. I did not discover it until after she passed away, and when I finally opened it, I understood why she had lived her entire life without panic. I'll tell you what was inside later in this story. But trust me, it changed the way I think about money forever. When I was younger, I thought successful people were supposed to look stressed. I thought wealth meant constantly checking markets, answering emails at midnight, staring at investment charts before breakfast, and somehow pretending exhaustion was glamorous. I genuinely believed anxiety meant ambition. And maybe some of you watching grew up believing that too. Because modern life teaches us that if we are not rushing, we are falling behind. Rush to invest. Rush to buy property. Rush to build a side hustle. Rush to become financially free before 30. Rush to turn hobbies into income. Rush to monetize your entire existence. And if you slow down for even a second, somebody online is there to remind you that a 22-year-old somewhere supposedly made £2 million from cryptocurrency while drinking iced coffee on a beach. It is exhausting. And I did what many people do. I believed the noise. A few years ago, I invested £2,000 into an online trend everyone promised would change my future. The comments were full of certainty. The videos sounded convincing. People acted like anyone who hesitated was stupid. So I rushed. And I lost nearly all of it. I remember sitting on my bedroom floor at 1 a.m, staring at my banking app feeling physically sick. I could barely breathe. I felt embarrassed, ashamed, terrified that I had failed somehow. And then Gran Betty walked in quietly carrying tea and toast like she already knew. She sat beside me without saying anything for a while. Tap. That little teacup again. Then she looked at me and said, "Darling, if money can steal your sleep, you're holding it the wrong way." I did not fully understand it then. But I do now. Because Gran Betty never built wealth around excitement. She built it around stability. And stability is not flashy. It does not go viral. Nobody online brags about having emergency savings and low stress levels. But maybe they should. Because the older I get, the more I realize peace is probably the greatest luxury on earth. Not status, not hype, not appearing successful to strangers. Just peace. Gran Betty understood that decades ago. She grew up during difficult years. She rarely spoke about hardship dramatically. But every now and then, small pieces would slip out while she stirred tea or folded laundry. She once told me she remembered neighbors sharing bread during hard winters, because nobody had enough money to survive alone. She remembered families quietly helping one another pay bills without embarrassing anyone publicly. She remembered watching people lose everything because they trusted excitement instead of preparation. And I think those experiences shaped her entire philosophy about money. She used to say, "Darling, hard times reveal whether money controls you, or whether you control yourself." That sentence stayed with me, because modern finance often feels designed to make people emotional, Fear, greed, comparison, panic, urgency, everything screams at us constantly. Buy now, act now, invest now, upgrade now. And Gran Betty quietly moved in the opposite direction. She believed slow decisions were usually better decisions. I remember one afternoon when I was about 12 years old. We walked into a tiny shoe repair shop tucked between a florist and an old bookstore. The owner looked devastated because his stitching machine had broken, and repairs would cost nearly £300. I whispered, "Why doesn't he just close the shop?" Gran Betty looked horrified. "Because, darling, if we lose places like this, we lose each other." Then she did something I still think about constantly. She handed him the money. Not as charity, as trust. That little repair shop stayed open another 15 years. The owner trained apprentices. Families stayed employed. A community survived because one person believed local businesses mattered. At the time, I thought Gran Betty was simply sentimental. Now I realize she understood something economists talk about constantly today. Money is never just money. It is influence. It is energy. It is a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. Gran Betty voted for people. Always. And perhaps that sounds old-fashioned now. But honestly, I think people are starving for that kind of wisdom again. Because despite all our technology, people feel more financially anxious than ever. Maybe you feel it too. Maybe you have worked harder than ever before, but still feel behind somehow. Maybe you are exhausted from comparing your real life to somebody else's carefully edited online success story. Maybe you are tired of pretending everything feels financially fine when it does not. If that sounds familiar, Gran Betty would probably smile gently and say, "You do not need to impress people who are also struggling." She had a one-liner for absolutely everything. Gran Betty refused to finance cars because she called them debt with headlights. She hated buying things just because other people owned them. She called credit card debt buying yesterday's emotions with tomorrow's money. And honestly, she would have had an absolute field day with social media culture. She once told me, "Comparison is one of the most expensive hobbies in the world." I laughed at the time. Now I think she was describing modern life perfectly before it even existed. Because entire industries now profit from making people feel inadequate. Not stylish enough. Not wealthy enough. Not successful enough. Not productive enough. And when people feel inadequate, they spend emotionally. Gran Betty understood emotional spending long before psychologists started talking about it online. That is why she relied on systems instead of feelings. Every month before spending a single pound, Gran Betty divided her money carefully into envelopes. Savings, emergency fund, helping others, household expenses, joy. Yes, joy had its own envelope. Because Gran Betty believed budgets fail when people remove all happiness from their lives. "Darling," she used to say, "a miserable budget eventually becomes a broken budget." Again, she was right. She called her system. Telling your money where to go before life spends it for you. Simple, calm, repeatable, and most importantly, sustainable. That word matters. Because modern financial advice often focuses on intensity instead of sustainability. Extreme saving, extreme investing, extreme hustling, extreme productivity. But Gran Betty believed consistency beats intensity almost every time. A small amount saved regularly mattered more than dramatic financial behavior followed by burnout. She often compared money habits to gardening. "You cannot scream at flowers to grow faster, darling." Honestly, I think half her financial wisdom sounded like poetry. And yet somehow it all worked. She never seemed panicked, ever. Meanwhile, people earning far more money around her constantly looked stressed. That fascinated me as I got older. Because income and peace are not the same thing. A person can earn enormous amounts while living in constant fear of losing it. Gran Betty lived differently. She prepared slowly, patiently, quietly. And now I want to tell you about the winter that completely changed how I saw her. One year, our neighbor's heating broke during freezing weather. I remember watching Gran Betty disappear for 20 minutes, wearing her old brown coat, with the stitched sleeve she refused to replace. Later, I learned she had secretly paid the neighbor's heating bill. At the exact same time, she was still repairing her own coat instead of buying a new one. That moment stayed with me forever. Because it taught me that truly secure people do not always look wealthy. Sometimes they simply look calm. Sometimes generosity is the clearest sign of financial confidence. And Gran Betty was deeply generous. Not because she was rich, but because she was prepared. There is a difference. Most people think wealth means abundance. Gran Betty thought wealth meant resilience. She once told me, "Darling, the goal is not luxury during perfect times. The goal is stability during difficult ones." That line matters enormously right now. Because the world feels uncertain. Prices rise constantly. People worry about housing, retirement, job security, and the future. And in uncertain times, flashy financial advice becomes incredibly dangerous because desperate people are easier to manipulate. Gran Betty warned me about urgency constantly. If someone needs you to rush, she would say, it usually benefits them more than you. That sentence alone could probably save people thousands of pounds, maybe more. And here is the truth nobody likes admitting. Most financial mistakes happen emotionally, not intellectually. People panic buy, panic sell, panic invest, panic spend, panic compare. And Gran Betty built systems specifically designed to reduce panic. For example, she believed every person should have what she called a peace fund. Not an emergency fund, a peace fund. I asked her why she used that name once. She smiled and said, "Because the real purpose of savings is not money, darling. It is peace." That completely changed how I think about saving. Because suddenly saving no longer felt restrictive. It felt protective. And if you are watching this right now, I want you to try something Gran Betty taught me. Before buying anything unnecessary, wait 48 hours. That is it. 48 hours. If you still genuinely want it after 2 days, then decide calmly. You would be amazed how many emotional purchases disappear with time. Gran Betty believed time reveals truth. Urgency hides it. And honestly, that lesson applies to far more than money. Now let me finally tell you what was inside that kitchen cupboard. After Gran Betty passed away, we found old biscuit tins stacked carefully in the back. Each one had handwritten labels. Winter problems. Family emergencies. Helping others. Broken boiler. Rainy days. And one simply said, peace. Inside every tin was carefully folded cash. Not huge amounts. Just slow, steady preparation collected over decades. And suddenly everything made sense. That was why she never panicked. That was why bad news never seemed to shake her. That was why she could help people without fear. She was not lucky. She was rooted. While the world chased excitement, Gran Betty quietly built resilience. And maybe that is the lesson modern life desperately needs again. Not faster success, not louder wealth, not constant comparison, just stronger foundations, safer homes, calmer minds, more intentional lives. Because one day, markets will stop mattering to all of us. Trends will disappear. Apps will vanish. But kindness, preparation, generosity, and the feeling of safety inside a home, those things never lose value. And before Gran Betty passed away, she squeezed my hand beside that same chipped blue teacup and whispered the sentence that changed my life forever. Darling, the goal was never to become rich quickly. The goal was to become impossible to frighten. I still get emotional thinking about that, because I think she understood something profound. The wisest people are not always the loudest people. Sometimes they are simply the calmest person in the room. And if Gran Betty's wisdom meant something to you today, please take a moment to like this video because it truly helps these stories reach more people who feel overwhelmed by modern life and money. Share this with someone who needs a calmer approach to wealth and happiness. And subscribe to join this growing community of slower, wiser people, choosing peace over panic, and purpose over pressure. And whatever you do next, please watch the rest of Gran Betty's Money Wisdom series, because these stories are becoming more than financial advice. They are reminders of what really matters. Gran Betty used to say, "Patience is the only interest rate that never collapses." And honestly, I think the world needs more people like her again.